How's it going, everybody? So let's continue on looking at this date. Um, those look like, okay. Do I have anything new up here? Wrong set. All right, let's come over here. The Prestige, October 17th, October 20th, November 10th. We know that it showed us the cloning. It was Christopher Nolan. 6603, so 66 book of the Bible, Revelation, 216 months, 6 times 6 times 6. This is all on the rising day, which is what the prestige means. The turn is three parts of a magic trick. Um, According to the film The Prestige, what are the three parts of a magic trick? The pledge, that's when you see the twins. The turn, that's when the twins are down or disappeared or gone, or right eye wound representation. Then the prestige is rising, whether that's the abomination of desolation or just his rising on the third day. It's very difficult to say. The prestige does come to 469 in the Jewish, 132, which is 11 times 12, or November 12th. The next prestige date to the rising day is a perfect 6,600 days. 6600, 66 book of the Bible. Again, Revelation. Again, 216 months, 25 days. 25 representing the year. 6 times 6 times 6 equals 216. That's big right there. When you look at the prestige, that 20th, that's your United States release date. And then this one over here, the United Kingdom release date on November 10th, 6944. Remember, the prestige comes to, in the gematria, 469. And then you have your 6944. 44 represents the 404 verses of Revelation. And their world always drop the zero, or it's always an option. So that's a big deal. And then we come over to, I think we already did all about Eve. One thing I wanted to tell you, they fired the Gator coach, which is a green light for the ritual now. It's a green light that says he's been 86th. Do they have to replace him with the eighth? The eighth is of the seven, or just eliminating the seventh king of Mystery Babylon, as Florida is Devil's Advocate University? If we look, the Devil's Advocate, if we look at the Devil's Advocate, let's run it to the day that they did 86 him. Well, there it is, October 17th, 1997, 144 minutes. 2 days later, they 86'd him. So we're going to go to, remember, their URL is 1189.71. 1189 is his name in the Jewish Hebrew Gematria. So October 17th, 1997. October 17th to the day that they 86'd him. 10229. My goodness. Quite the personal cipher. Let's run it to our 86ing day. Actually, let's just run it straight to the rising day. 10/25/5. 28 years, 28 days. But other than that, let's go 102.55 and see if it's a 37 progression. We really need to start checking that. It is when it's 0249, so 6 days previous on the 8th. All right, hang on just a quick second. So the transfer portal of time is very interesting. We were the only people that came up with the transfer portal of time. We knew when it was. It was January 10th, 2022. It was the national championship game, and Dr. Pepper was featuring their transfer portal. And we started going back 37 progressions. You would either land on a full moon, going backwards, it landed on a total solar eclipse. Going forward, it landed on the snow full moon and so forth. And we started realizing how perfect it was. It lands on the 21st of September, which will transfer portal over to May 1st, May Day. So the Lord gave that to us, easy peasy. I'll never forget doing that initial video. Absolutely mind blowing. So we always run it. And believe it or not, from the transfer portal over to the rising day, it is 1,404 days, 404 Book of Revelation. When you run it backwards through the portal of January 10th, 2022, it lands on March 8th, 38. 2 days previous, it is 310, which it's a reversal. So 310 is the 86ing day, and March 8th is the rising day. So we started looking at 310 to Yuma, which in the URL is 381849. 49 is his name on one of the 4 base ciphers. You have your 818 for the time on the clocks. But Back to the Future, the 753 was really 818. And then you start looking at the 2 dates of August 21st, which is a big date in their world. That's when that total solar hit, and when Mr. Big made his big, I think that's when he did his I Am the Chosen One. Somebody had to do it speech. So we ran the date of 310 to Yuma to the rising day, or one of the dates, the August 21st, Los Angeles, which means the angels. It's the city of the fallen angels in the state of Kali, the goddess of destruction. And there's your 666 coded. That's a 37 progression, by the way. 6660 divided by 37 comes to a perfect 180, which does represent the turn. It's a 180-degree turn. That's mind-blowing right there. That really, really is something else right there. That 310 to Yuma. That featured Christian Bale, who, of course, is always Batman. And then the other guy, Mr. Gladiator. The other 310 to Yuma date is on 9/7. 97th verse is Revelation 6:1. It is 6643 days on the rising day. 66th book of the Bible. Once again, that's huge. I mean, this is really, 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 really big stuff. American Psycho, which is him. The URL at IMDb is 144,084, literally the church, the End Times Church. It's listed as a comedy, a dark comedy, or comedy horror. When you go to the top, well, I forget, at IMDb, I think that's where. If you look at it, its release date at Sundance, 121 Antichrist in simple gematria, January 21st, 2000. Doesn't really get any better than that, does it? April 14th, 2000 is its wide release, 93.45 on the rising day. Of course, one of his numbers. But you look at the weeks, it's 1,335 for Revelation 13:3. Deadly wound, but did live. When we run him, his birthday to this 1/21/2000 Sundance, it's 19,579. 79 is murder. Anyway, what else? That's really about it. But this is really starting to jump this date, which hopefully you see video one. These are all on a playlist, depending on where you're watching it. So just click playlist, and then you will get them all in order, no matter what channel you're viewing this on. I've got it on 4 platforms of YouTube. Love you.